Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Kraken Packs video. I am your host, MrBevers. We're back with another Quickie video of Betrayers of Kamigawa. Now, this is episode 2. I know that my video from last week said episode 12, because I made a typo, I guess. You know, it never works out. Never works out. Never rush yourself, kids. Never rush yourself. Always make sure you double check things and triple check things, and make sure that it's the way that you want it to be, because sometimes you make little mistakes. These things happen. Anyway, episode 2. Episode 2. I didn't open up a lot of Betrayers back when the set came out. But I did open some, just not a lot. Now, you saw last week, if you watched last week's video, we did hit one of the top-end rares from this set. And we are going a little bit slower. And the reason we're going a little bit slower is because maybe some of you out there, and I would assume a lot of the newer players to Magic, welcome everyone, have not seen this set necessarily or played with it. So we're just going to kind of scroll through the cards at a slower pace. I know it's supposed to be the quickie, but we're going to go a little bit slower. Like, we're not going to go like super slow, but we're going to at least show off each of the commons. I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to just sort of show them off. So that you guys can take a look. You can pause the video if you wish to get a good look at what the cards are and what they do. Also, just to show off the art, because the art in this set was actually pretty cool. I liked the art in this set, personally. Very, like, I don't know what you would call it. I don't know what aesthetic you would call it, but it's very, raw, in my opinion. So then our first uncommon from the first pack is Heed the Mists. Body of Jukai. Oh, this is the Soul Shift guy. We talked about this guy in the last video. An 8/5 with Soul Shift. And Soul Shift is like one of the newer abilities that came out in this set. That allows you to put a card from your graveyard into play with converter mana cost, you know, X or less based on what the Soul Shift value is. But it has to be a spirit. Right? But there were a lot of spirits in this set. And our rare... Oh, we didn't get to the rare yet. There's still another uncommon, Mr. B. There's still another uncommon. Nezumi, Shadow Watcher. 1/1 for 1 that says sacrifice it and destroy target ninja. That's, you know, probably a heavy hitter in this block because there were a lot of ninjas. And our rare is a patron of Kitsune, of the Kitsune. So, this is a 5/6 for 6 that has an ability called Fox Offering. I have a feeling that Fox Offering was not something that they printed on too many cards. But you may play this card anytime you could play an instant by sacrificing a Fox and paying the difference in mana cost between this and the sacrificed Fox. Mana cost includes color. So, in other words, this is essentially like the ability that came out with Eldritch Moon, which was the... what was that? Crap, now I can't remember the name of it, but essentially allowed you to cast your creatures by sacking creatures that you had on the table and reducing their cost. I don't remember the name of it now. Just drawing a complete blank on it. Oh well, these things happen. But you can see where, like, they learn, right? Like, they try out an ability, and then maybe it's not until a couple years later that they've actually perfected it, and they bring it out into, you know, a little bit more of a fleshed out ability. Right? Because, I mean, I'm sure that everyone is like, you know, oh, well, there were a lot of foxes in the set, so, I mean, that made sense. But, I mean, outside of this block, Fox Offering is not really a thing. Right? And you can see as we scroll through here, there's a lot of spirits and arcane spells. Ooh, and the snakes. Tribal snakes was a thing in this set. Stir the Grave. Man, what a good card that was. Alright, our first uncommon here is Minamo? Sightbender. Little human wizard. 2. Target creature with power X or less is unblockable this turn. Forked Branch Garami. With Soul Shift 4 and Soul Shift 4, so it triggers twice. Pretty sweet. 4/4 for 5, that brings back 2 essentially like 4/4 or smaller drops from your graveyard when it dies. Is pretty nice. Ogre Marauder. And our rare is a foil. Oh no, that's not the foil rare you want to see. This is a card that got reprinted as an uncommon in Masters 25. So its value is probably not great. And then the fact that it's a foil, also not great, because since it was an uncommon in that set, it was more likely to show up as a foil than a rare, right? So foil copies of this card are probably quite a bit more plentiful than they used to be. This was probably good if it hadn't been reprinted as an uncommon, mainly because it's an old legendary foil from way back. So who knows? Maybe it still has a couple bucks value on it. I have no idea, but I would doubt it. But Iwamori of the Open Fist, 5/5 for 4 with Trample. When it comes into play, each opponent may put a legendary creature card from his or her hand into play. Now, foil rare, though. I mean, you're not going to complain about foil rare. And you notice that the foil rare took up the rare slot. So, like, you don't get... in this set, you don't get your foils in addition to the other cards, right? So, like, you don't end up with 2 rares in a pack, right? Because you don't get your rare and then a foil rare behind it. You get your... if you get a foil rare, you get a foil rare. And that's it. So there's no way to tell early on if you have foils or not, which is interesting. Ah, the Frostling. Good old Frostling. Ooh, Hirobi's Whisper. I feel like this used to be something. I'll have to double check that one. I feel like Hirobi's Whisper used to be something of value. Maybe not so much anymore, but it's possible. And our first uncommon, Empty Shrine Kanushi. It's a 1/1 for 1 that says it has protection from the colors of permanents you control. Interesting. Interesting. Ronin Cliff Rider with Bushido, good old Bushido. Walker of Secret Ways, a 1/2 for 3 with Ninjutsu. Look at that player's hand, my goodness. And our rare is Kodama of the Center Tree. So everyone knows about Kodama's Reach and things like that because it's a very popular... Oh, weird. So we did get a foil, and the foil does come at the back, but so you see it took up one of the common slots. That's how this works, right? So it is still at the back, but if you get a foil rare, it just comes at the back because you don't get an additional. Anyway, Kodama of the Center Tree is a star for 4 and a green, and its power and toughness are each equal to the number of spirits you control. Kodama of the Center Tree has Soul Shift X, where X is the number of spirits you control. So there you go. You can return something quite big with this if you have a lot of rinky-dink spirits. And we've got Kumano's Blessing in foil. Little foil common with an enchant. It's an enchant creature. You may play Kumano's Blessing anytime you could play an instant. If a creature dealt damage by enchanted creature this turn would be put into the graveyard, remove it from the game instead. So lets you like put something onto things that exile creatures instead of killing them, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, there you go. Not necessarily as exciting as a GT. However, we did get a foil rare, and we did get another foil. So we hit 2 foils this week, which is pretty crazy. That's pretty good for 1 week. Out of only 3 packs, we hit 2 foils. I'm not going to complain about that. I mean, the fact that our foil rare from the box was Iwamori of the Open Fist is kind of unfortunate, but hey, what can you do, right? What can you do? Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I've been your host, MrBevers. This has not been so quick, but it is a quickie, and don't worry, they will speed up as we go past, you know, like once we've seen the majority of the commons, we'll obviously skip past them and get right into the nitty-gritty of the uncommons and the rares. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, may your pulls ever be better.